Okay, we should be live now. Welcome everyone. This is Sarah from the Transfer Student Center, and I am joined here tonight with some friends from the Career Center, and we are going to be talking about all things career. So if you have questions about how to make the most of the Career Center, want to know more about what they do or don't do, this is the perfect session for you. So I'm going to let our friends introduce themselves, and then we're going to get right into some questions and then learn a little bit more about some resources the Transfer Center has. Omar, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Hi, we're really excited to be here. I'm really excited to be here and really nervous whenever it comes to transfer students. I love transfer students. I'm a fellow transfer student, and I know how coming to UCLA Forage University from a community college and then with all the other things in life can be very stressful at times. And really just want to appreciate you all for being here and anybody that's tuning in on Facebook. So really just want to start by introducing myself and talking a little bit about my story. I think that's so important to really be vocal about my story and sharing my story because I know that many of a huge reason why I've been able to navigate higher education and find mentorship and find advisors and advocates has been I've heard people share their story that resonate with me that are so similar to mine, and then I feel so comfortable to approach them and be like, hey, this is who I am. Can you help me? Like, this is where I am. What advice can you give me? What mentorship can you provide? So really quick, so I'm a non-traditional student. I just turned 29 this past Saturday, and I graduated. So we'll go back. So I graduated high school in 2010. I stopped out of California State University, Northridge in 2012. Did a bunch of other things in life, and I found my way back to UCLA and to LA Pierce College in 2016. Graduated LA Pierce College in 2018. And then came to UCLA. I graduated this past spring, 2020, as a Chicano and Central American Studies major, minor in history with an emphasis on Mesoamerica. And I am now currently in a Master of Education student in Student Affairs. So I'm studying student affairs and really higher education, organizational change. So I know Sarah was also part of the program that I'm in. So that's so awesome. And one thing about me, I was actually planning on taking a third year at UCLA. So if you have any questions about possibly thinking about staying for a third year, let me know. So I was planning on it. I had talked to my academic advisor. I had talked to my departmental advisor. And then what really made me change my mind to not do a third year was I thought of it, if I stay another year, why am I staying another year? So I decided and really quickly decided on a turnaround from one summer, right? The summer before the application was due, I really changed my mind and decided to apply to the master's program and continue that. So technically my third year at UCLA is in the MSA program, which I think has been an amazing choice to continue forward. But if you have any of those questions, please let me know because I did go through the process of advocating for myself because I got a lot of no's. I got a lot of doors shut on me, people telling me, no, you can't do a third year. No, you shouldn't do a third year. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know and we can talk about it. And now I'll pass it over to Jackie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jackie Ocela. I am also an intern here at the Career Center. And as an undergraduate, I was also a transfer student. I'm a first generation college student as well. And in high school, I'll talk a little bit about my story as well. In high school, I wasn't really focused on going to college. I was just really focused on graduating from high school. So I went to Orange Coast College. I was there for 3 years, and then I transferred to UC Irvine, where I got my bachelor's in public health. And then after that, I worked for about 3 years. And then now I'm in the graduate program along with Omar in the Masters of Student Affairs program. And like many of you transfer students, I have never had a class in person at UCLA. Our master's program is only 4 quarters long. So it's summer, fall, winter, and spring, and then it's done. So I'll probably never have a class at UCLA. And I think at first I was I know, sad face. At first I had a hard time with it, and I felt really disconnected from campus and like from the UCLA community. But I have done things to make me feel more connected to campus. One of them being is connecting with my professors. So if we were in person, you would be able to just see your professor after class and talk to them about something. But now that we're on Zoom, I do find that I have to be a lot more intentional. So I do have to like email my professors and ask them to set up a one-on-one, or sometimes they have Zoom appointments or Zoom office hours, and I would encourage you to really sign up for those. The other thing that helps is making connections with your classmates. So for Omar and I, we are in a cohort of 15 students. So we have a WhatsApp texting group where we can talk to each other and we keep each other up to date on what's going on. What I also suggest is, let's say you are in a huge class and a professor maybe puts you into a breakout room. Try to connect with those students. You can even try to create a study group or maybe like a reading group. I feel like that helps. The biggest thing that has helped me, and I really saw this transition from summer to fall, is getting involved on campus, or I guess on campus through Zoom. So in the summer, I was just taking classes online, but then once fall came around, I actually started my internship here at the Career Center. And through this internship, I've been able to connect with UCLA staff and UCLA students outside of the classroom and really collaborate with other departments. I mean, even now, I work for the Career Center. I'm working with the Transfer Center staff. So that has really helped me feel more connected to the campus. Another thing that's a little bit cheesy is if you can get like a UCLA like t-shirt and just like put it on, or you can't see my wall behind me, but I have like a whiteboard and I put like UCLA on it. I also have a sticker that I put on there on my whiteboard. So that kind of helps me feel like a UCLA student. Also, if you notice my background, this is actually Moore Hall. So this is where I would actually have my classes if I were a student. So this kind of helps me feel like I'm kind of part of campus, sort of. Omar's laughing. But yeah, just know, like, if you are feeling a little bit disconnected from the UCLA community, just know that you're not alone, and a lot of other students are feeling this way. And there are things that you can do to make you feel a little bit more connected to the UCLA community. But next,
you're like a plant, I swear. Like, I feel like you just teed me up to talk about some of the things we're doing this week. So 2 completely shameless plugs is, and I can't believe I didn't start with this, it's Transfer Pride Week. So exciting. We're so excited to celebrate you all and the transfer community at UCLA all week long. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to get involved this week and to learn more about UCLA and hopefully feel more connected. So 2 very specific shameless plugs based on what Jackie said. Like, I feel like you just like teed me up here. I swear I didn't ask her to do this. And so one, all week long, all of the events we're doing, and all of the events are on Facebook already. So you can find the links to register and join right there. All week long, each event we're doing, we're collecting attendance, and we're doing a week-long giveaway based on that attendance. And we're sending t-shirts and UCLA swag as a prize for 20 lucky winners. 20, yes. And so if you're interested in that, definitely come show up to some events this week, and we would love to see you there and help you get connected. The other thing is, on Thursday at noon, we're doing an event called Virtual Bruin Walk, which is going to be about how to get involved this quarter at UCLA. So we're going to have all different centers and different student orgs present to talk about how you can get involved right now. Lots of folks don't get involved their first quarter at UCLA, and so this is a good time to see like what are you interested in outside of classes that can help you get involved. So shameless plugs complete. Happy Transfer Pride Week, everyone. We are gonna jump right in. Just note, we have several other folks in this Zoom with us. We have a whole bunch of students. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for coming and joining us and sending great questions. We also have additional folks. We have both Karina and Carissa from the Career Center and the Transfer Center respectively helping us out with the Zoom. So big thanks to them. We really, really appreciate it. So we are going to jump right in. Are you ready, Omar and Jackie? Those were great introductions, by the way. So we're going to have you kick it off. So it seems like we're getting a bunch of questions about LinkedIn, Handshake, and internships. Which one do you want to start with?
So I think Jackie, I'll start, or Jackie, you want to start with the website and just kind of give an overview of some of our resources, and then we'll jump into, because some of the questions we'll definitely be able to go through Handshake. So I'll let
Yeah,
Jackie take it off.
yeah. So we also got some pre-presentation questions that I'll also get to, that I'll also answer throughout my presentation. But first, I want to start off with the first question. It is, what resources does the Career Center offer? And we offer so many resources. I really cannot go through all of them, but this is the Career Center page, and I'll try to just kind of mention a few that I really like. So here's the Career Center homepage. It's career.ucla.edu. And if you have any questions about any resources or Handshake or any quick questions, you can visit our virtual front desk, which is on the home page of the Career Center. So you just click on this, check in the lobby, and then you'll access the desk via Zoom. I also want to point out that we have a YouTube channel with a lot of career workshops on there, just like this, that are recorded. Something else that I really want to point out is someone asked if the Career Center is hosting drop-ins, and the answer is yes. Yes, we are. So if you go right here to the top, it says undergraduate. If you click on that and you click on explore virtual services, you'll have all our virtual services on here, but I really want to highlight our virtual drop-ins. So drop-in sessions are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 to 2 p.m. And these are 15-minute appointments where you can talk about your resume, your cover letter, or any job and internship search questions. So this is how you access it. You just click right here on this link, and it'll take you to our Zoom room. And then once you're in the Zoom room, you'll be put in a breakout room with one of the Career Center counselors or an intern like myself. The next thing I want to show you all is, if you go back to undergraduate and you click on resources, there are so many resources that we offer. And a lot of these, you can access these through Handshake. In a bit, Omar will show you how to access these, but I'll kind of point out a little bit, I'll kind of point out some of the resources here. So the first one is Forage. So with Forage, you're able to do some virtual internships. So these are simulated experiences. They're not real internships, but they kind of help get your feet wet to do an internship. The next one is Parker Dewey. And I really like Parker Dewey because they offer paid micro internships. So let's say you're interested in maybe working in UX design or social media or something of that sort, but you don't know if you'll like it or not. This is a good way to also get your feet wet, because these internships, they're usually about 2 to 6 weeks long, and it'll give you a sense of whether this is for you or not. And if it's not, fantastic. It's going to be over with soon. And if you do like it, it's great, then fantastic. Then you can actually go and look for another internship. I also really want to highlight our UCLA Career Guide. And I really like this career guide. I specifically always show students chapter 6, which is on resume and cover letters. And I really like this because it gives you actual resume templates. So I love this. If you need ideas, I use this. The next thing I want to show you all is UCLA One. So UCLA One is a place for current students to connect with UCLA alumni, ask them questions about their job, or maybe find a mentor on there. So I really enjoy UCLA One. The next thing I want to show you that I really like, and I'm actually just going to go in here, is VMOC. So with VMock, let me just sign in.
Yeah, so with VMock, something really somebody asked about resume building. This is a great opportunity. Jackie's going to go through it while she's logging in. This is a great resource to really be able to if you're wanting to rebuild or start from scratch, or you want to rebuild it, or you want to get some artificial intelligence feedback. And I'll let Jackie take it on now.
Yeah, thank you, Omar. Yeah, so if it is, let's say it's 1 in the morning and you need somebody to read your resume and you don't have anyone to read your resume, I would suggest uploading your resume on VMock. So as you can see, I had already uploaded my resume and it gives you a score. Don't really pay attention to the score. What I really want you all to pay attention to is the detailed feedback, which I feel is really helpful. So for me, like it gave me some feedback. So if I go to, so this is my resume. So if I go to over usage, it tells me that I used support or supported and create way too many times on my resume. So I either need to remove that or find a new word to use that with, to use. And you can also edit your resume on here, which is also really cool. So if you'd like, you can just edit your resume. Let me click continue directly on here, which I really like. And then after you're done, you can download your resume as a PDF or a Word doc. So that's pretty cool. The next question that I got was, when does the Career Center offer job fairs? And the answer to that is fall and winter. So for this month, I believe today there's a job fair, and I think tomorrow there's a job fair as well. But it's all on here, and I'm going to actually let Omar talk a little bit more about that, because you can register for these job fairs through Handshake. So I'll pass it over to you, Omar.
Perfect, thank you. So I'm gonna take over and I'm gonna start talking about Handshake. Okay, so I have it up already, but I wanna go ahead. Accessing Handshake, this is one of those things I have, and I'll show you really quick. I have Handshake saved so I can easily access it. And I would definitely recommend that for many of the resources for the Career Center, that you keep them safe, because it's always a hassle to try to find it on the website, even if you just want to go on it really quick. And that's me right there, by the way. So accessing it really quick, Jackie showed it, but just want to show it one more time. So you can go here, register on Handshake, or clicking on this, it will take you straight to being able to log in. And this is the landing page for Handshake. So some of the things the question was, we're going to start with finding internships and full-time jobs. So this is a really awesome feature, and really one of the first questions I want to if somebody asked difference between Handshake and LinkedIn. What's awesome about Handshake is that there's also some areas where you can network, but it's connected to UCLA and UCLA Career Center. So that means that this is the one-stop shop for everything career services related, offered by the Career Center at UCLA. This is updated by career services staff. This is where you're able to search for jobs with partners that are partnered through with Handshake and with UCLA. You're able to go to all the events that are offered by UCLA through UCLA, and you'll be able to see this through the events page up here. But really, searching for jobs is so easy. You can use filters by location, full-time job, internships, part-time, on-campus jobs. So we're really working hard with our UCLA campus partners to make sure that any jobs on campus, you will find them here on Handshake. There's also other websites that UCLA offers, but we're really working really hard to make sure that everything is on here, so you can see all the different types of applications, and you're able to apply externally. You're able to apply, and there's usually a button here. What's awesome about Handshake is that it keeps tabs on the applications that you've put in. So if you go here to the top right and you go to applications, you're able to see which applications you've looked at, which applications you've applied to, and you're able to go back to the actual application setting. If it's an external application, you're able to go back onto it. So that's something that's really, really, really awesome that you're able to see through Handshake. events. So you're able to see the events that are going on, and Jackie shared about some of the events that are going on. I'm actually going to jump really quick to the undergraduate student view. I'm gonna do a new share of this one for the student view so you can see. Let me log in really quick. So when we go to events, here you're able to see some of the events. And I really want to make a quick plug since Sarah made a shameless plug. I'm also going to make a shameless plug. We have an event coming up right here. So this is actually a workshop that's going on tomorrow. So level up your skills via a virtual opportunity. So this is where you're able to register. Top right here, you register. Here is the link with the meeting ID and passcode. And this is an awesome workshop that's going on tomorrow from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And this really is to help answering questions. So with going through COVID and things being online, we're going to talk about some of the resources, and there's going to be a panel of students that have actually used some of the online resources that the Career Center has to offer, like Parker Dewey and some other ones, so that you're able to really be able to get an in-depth view of some of these things and kind of what is it looking like. Is a really informative session that's going on tomorrow. So that's one. And we also have some events called Game Changers, People, Companies, and Innovation Evolving in the Tech Industry. This is open to all students, regardless of major or what side of campus you're, if you're North or South campus. And you're able to see those through here. And all these are actually on the events page on Handshake, and you're able to register through that. And I'll drop the link, but here it is. You just click on the link and you go straight to the page and you're able to register, and the location is on there. And I'll go ahead and drop the link for that. So let me go back now to here. So an awesome thing is you're able to ask questions. You're able to ask questions and scroll through questions. Other questions, is Walt Disney a good place to work for? And you're able to get answers from students. So sort of works like Reddit. You're also able to network. So if you want to explore students, so some of the students, like where they are. So I'm just going to go to Mark. So you're able to see what their academic journey is like. So there are also students that are on Handshake. So that means UC, Irvine, or Riverside uses Handshake, and you're able to reach out, send a message, and reach out to ask questions if you see that they've worked somewhere that you want to work for, or that that's something similar to what you've done or what you want to do. This is a great place to be able to go see some of that and network with other students. And that's also so important. It leads me to really push. So my profile, how can you really take the most advantage or the best advantage of Handshake? And it's really completing your profile. So completing your profile is so important because this is what employers view. So you see what an employer views. So if you go here, this is what they're able to see. Are you actively looking for a job? What type of job are you interested in? What cities? What are some of the roles that you're looking for? So career counselor, for me, career counselor, education counselor, operations manager, administrative services manager. What are some of the industries that I'm interested in? Some of the skills. You can upload your resume directly onto here. And what's really important about having your resume onto here is that some of the applications, when you search for a job, it'll ask you to upload your resume. And if it's already uploaded into Handshake, it's automatically populates it, and then you're just able to send that in. So work and volunteer experience, organization, and extracurricular. So the more keywords and the more things and the more built out your profile is, the more employers will be able to see it, because they're able to also search similarly how we can search for a job in law. Employers are able to do the same thing. They're able to search in a school like at UC. I'm going to search at UCLA, and this is what I'm looking for, this type of student. And the more filled out it is, the better it is for you to be able to see that. And LinkedIn, and Jackie will talk about this, and LinkedIn does have some of these features, but remember that LinkedIn isn't attached to UCLA necessarily, but Handshake is integrated into UCLA, and this is where we'll be able to update. And here you'll be able to get messages. So let me jump and see the chat really quick to make sure that I haven't missed anything before I talk about some of the other awesome things that you can access. So Handshake, answer that one. Handshake oppose internships. So you're able to search for internships, apply to them. You do that. Now I see a question about I see a question about accessing career service resources. So that's where I'm going to go next. So up here, you have a button called Career Center. So this is where you access career specific resources. And this is where you're able to make an appointment. So I'm going to click on this really quick, but mine looks different. So I'm going to jump back to the student view so that you can see what an undergraduate student would see. So when you go to Career Center here, go to Appointments, schedule a new appointment. Undergraduate career advising. So you're able to meet with a career counselor advisor for a 30-minute appointment and if you had it, again, it'll show you for drop-in hours. So if you're a South Campus major, it'll show you here, South Campus, but career or graduate school advising, North Campus majors for North Campus majors. Pre-law advising, so we have specialized career advisors that are experts in law and pre-law. So they'll be able to help you and answer any and all questions. And that's interviews, that's looking at your statements, talking about addendums, talking about what schools you want to apply to, what are some schools, what are some of the requirements, and really be able to explore what that looks like for you, be able to go over personal statements and all that fun stuff. And pre-health, the same. We have some awesome advisors. And actually, I'm going to make a plug for Jackie. She is very knowledgeable in health. And pre-health, so she may be one of the advisors that you get to meet with and get some amazing advice and get that one-on-one individual. Okay, I would recommend that if it's for resume, if you want someone to look at your resume, go to drop-in hours because you'll be able to meet with a counselor and it'll be focused just on your resume. You really want to take advantage of the one-on-one appointments, 30 minutes to really explore what are some of your career goals, what are some of your graduate school goals, and really be able to explore those versus using that time to look at your resume, which of course they can do. However, we really want to encourage all students to use drop-in hours for resumes and more basic questions. And I would always say drop-ins would be the best place to start because you can ask some questions and then you can schedule an appointment and be like, hey, I went to drop-in hours. This is kind of where I'm at. This is what's next for me, and these are some of the questions that I have. So that's always a piece of advice that's really valuable. And also one of the last things, let me see. What's the coolest or most interesting job you've seen posted on Handshake? That is a great question, Sarah. What is the coolest? So actually, if I go back, well, I'm gonna go through this really quick and then I'll answer that question. So let me do a new share and go back to here. A really cool one, that's something that I was actually looking at and was really interested in, is if I go to some of the applications. So this is for me, and I'm in education, and I've also done some operational work. So being able to go directly and apply mouse laboratory technician, that's so awesome. So this Children and Family Service Medical Director. So this is really awesome. This is something for me that's so awesome because it brings some of my previous experience and some future experience that I really want to become more fluent in. And look at this, like for me, making sure that I have a economically stable future is so important, and being able to look at this and being able to really expand my horizon beyond education. So that's what's really awesome about job and internship searches on Handshake, is that you're really able to search for things that you maybe never even heard of. You can put a keyword and who knows what'll pop up, industry that you never thought you would ever think to apply to, or really some of the things. So there's so many great things to explore. But what I really want to show is resources. So here we have some articles that will really go into some of the resources that we have. And I would recommend that when you access many of these resources, that you access them through here, because many of these you need a paid subscription for, like Vault, Focus 2, Going Global. You need a paid subscription but you have it free through UCLA and the Career Center. So accessing it through here, you'll be able to access these resources for free, create an account through these links for free, and you'll be able to go back here. And again, once you have it here, you can go ahead and after you create your account or access it, you can go ahead and bookmark it so that you can be able to go back. So you won't have to pay any of these resources as long as you access them through the Career Center and you make sure that you create your account with your UCLA email. So really quick, Jackie talked about Forage, talked about VMOC, Focus 2. So if you're not sure what career path to pursue, this is a great resource to be able to take a self-assessment and get some feedback on it and be able to start kind of figuring out like, oh, these are some of my interests, this is how they align with my skills. Vault is an amazing guide resource where you can research industries, companies, professions, different type of positions, different type of either entry or just any type of position that you're able to go. So you're able to see different rankings. You're able to see, take a really gain insight onto some of the industries that you're either interested in or that you maybe never heard of. Um, Interview stream. So interview stream is awesome, especially now that many of us are on Zoom or other platforms, and you're going to be interviewing. I know I'm going to be interviewing soon with hopefully with USC for my PhD program, and being able to practice on interviews. So you're able to record it on your computer or a mobile device. You're able to send it to someone that you trust to get feedback on it. And then you're also able to get feedback from a career counselor. Did I miss anything, Jackie? I'm gonna stop sharing really quick. I think that was.
I don't think you missed anything, but I do want to go back to Sarah's question about the coolest job that I've seen posted on Handshake. And I guess isn't this, well, it was cool to me, but in December, I saw a job posted by Environment, Health, and Safety, and they needed a student to work and test the water. I believe it was test the water to see if there was any COVID viruses or COVID viruses in there. So I thought that was pretty cool. They said that the students needed to be dressed up in full PPE gear. So I thought that was pretty cool. And something else, most of the on-campus job opportunities are on Handshake. So just make sure to check that out. So now I'm gonna go on to LinkedIn.
Yeah,
So
Jackie, before you go on, there was a really great question about internships and if they're necessary prepared during college or if it'll be some sort of disadvantage or advantage when looking for a job after I graduate. That's a really great question. The best answer that I can give is one important thing, one awesome thing that has really helped me to decide kind of my pathway as I go through my career development and wanting to figure out where I want to go as I continue forward is informational interviews. So reaching out to people in the industry that you are interested in working in. So let's say I wanted to be a transfer career a transfer student center director or assistant director one day. So I would reach out to Sarah and be like, hey, Sarah, can I meet with you? And I really want to get to know how you got to where you are. So and share a little bit about me and be like, and then meeting with Sarah, be like, hey, Sarah, this is where I'm at. This is how did you get to where you are? What is some advice that you would give me as a college student wanting to get into the transfer student business? And then being able to not only do that at one institution or at one location, but doing it across institutions and really thinking about where I want to go and where I want to end up and finding out from the people that are in that industry, what you should be doing and what are some of the things that you should be looking into, because it may not be an internship. The best thing may be to get into some research, or the best thing may be to focus on some other avenues, or but really every industry, every job, every career is so nuanced, so individualized that you want to go ahead and reach out to people in the field, people that you can trust, and make those connections to be like, how did you get to where you are? And it might turn out, and again, information or interviews are not to ask for a job. It's really just an opportunity to ask, but you never know. A job or an internship may come out of it, or they may be like, hey, we're actually looking to hire some people. Why don't you send me your resume? Or they're always great people to have. If I'm applying to a transfer, I can always send my resume, be like, hey, Sarah, I'm applying to the Transfer Student Center at, I don't know, Irvine or somewhere else, and be like, can you take a look at my resume? They should be able to give me some great feedback and really being able to talk to that. So that would be what I would say. Is there anything you wanted to add, Jackie, to that, or we'll go on to LinkedIn?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say about internships is that they really helped me decide what I wanted to do after I graduate. So I was very indecisive as an undergraduate. I changed my major 5 times. I kind of liked everything. So I found that through internships and through volunteering, I kind of narrowed down my path. So that once I got into my full-time job, it wasn't something completely new. I kind of knew a little bit about it. So definitely internship. If you can get an internship, if you can volunteer while you're in college, I would definitely encourage it. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is LinkedIn. So I'm just going to share my screen again. So what is LinkedIn? So LinkedIn, I like to think of it as like a professional Facebook. So it's a place where you can make connections. And for me, there are two main benefits of, well, there are many benefits of having a LinkedIn. But one of the benefits is, let's say you were at a job or an internship and you're leaving, and you want to keep in contact with your manager or supervisor, but maybe you don't want to add them on your Facebook, or maybe you don't want to add them on Instagram, but you do want to keep in contact with them. Then I would suggest connecting with them on LinkedIn, and then you both can stay up to date with what each other is doing. The next thing is that, as Omar was saying, informational interviews are so important, and you can definitely, as a student, you can definitely do informational interviews. So like when I was a student at UC Irvine, I could do informational interviews. Then once I graduated and I was working, then it became a little bit awkward to do informational interviews. But now that I'm a graduate student, I find that it's a lot easier to ask for an informational interview. So I would definitely do that while you're a student. And one of the ways that I suggest that you do this is through LinkedIn. So if you just look up UCLA right here in the search bar, and you click on alumni, and let's say when you graduate, you're interested in working for Disney. So I would just write Disney on here, and it would pop up all the people who, all the UCLA alumni that now work for Disney. So let's click on April's profile. So April, she works at the Walt Disney Studios, and you'll see her education. She was a transfer student at College of the Canyons. She studied psychology, and then she transferred to UCLA. And now she works at Disney, and you'll see all of her experience and all her experience on here. So if you're interested in maybe having a position like hers one day, then I would suggest connecting with April and messaging her and saying, and asking for an informational interview. Say, hey, my name is Jackie. I'm a student at UCLA. I'm studying history, and I'm interested in working for Disney one day in a position like yours. And then just let them know your availability. And ask if you could have 30 minutes of their time, so you can ask them questions about what they do in their role. Do they have any advice, and do they have any other connections that you can possibly talk to as well? So I suggest doing that. The other question we got was how to make your profile stand out on LinkedIn. And I actually clicked on this person's profile earlier. So this person, Todd, you'll see his profile. All of the elements of his profile are very nicely filled out, which I really like. He has a nice cover photo. Todd also works for Disney. He has a nice photo. He has a summary set up and everything. So if a recruiter or a future employer is maybe interested in looking for somebody, they could look at Todd's profile and get a good idea of what Todd does. You'll also notice that Todd is quite active on LinkedIn, which is really good. The other question we got was, how often should you post on LinkedIn? And I actually had to look up this question. And it's good to post 3 times a week on LinkedIn. If you post more than once a day, engagement starts to drop. So I thought that was interesting. The other thing that I find, I guess, helpful is if you're looking for any if you're looking for a job or an internship or maybe like a volunteer experience, I would suggest actually following recruiters on LinkedIn because a lot of times they post tips. They post tips on resumes and cover letters and any interviewing tips that that may be helpful for you. And sometimes, if you want to, let's say, um, maybe engage with the recruiter, you can comment on their post, or maybe you can even reach out to them and introduce yourself if you need any tips. And I would say don't be afraid to message people on LinkedIn. Like, this is what LinkedIn is for. LinkedIn is for networking. LinkedIn is for connecting, making those connections with people. So don't be afraid to message people on LinkedIn. It can be so helpful. And I know some people, they will just send in their resumes and cover letters and when they're looking for jobs. But I find that when you make a connection with somebody, it could be so much more helpful in finding a job because then you have a connection, you have somebody to vouch for you. But I believe we answered all our questions. Actually, can't see the chat. I shouldn't be saying that.
So Sarah asked a great question about how long should that initial message be? And it's really about introducing yourself and how you found them. Emphasize that you're looking for information and not a job. So you really want to make that explicit, because if you're looking for a job, they may ignore it. But if you're just like, hey, I just want information, I really want to do what you do, and is really being enthusiastic and kind of getting that person to be like, oh, like this person is interested in me, of course I'm going to email them back and provide an informational interview. And then ask for a convenient time to have a virtual conversation over the phone, via Zoom, or any other platform that they may use for work or themselves. And I saw here someone asked, do you recommend cold messaging or emailing recruiters for networking and getting in touch with them? Do some recruiters frown upon it since they probably get a lot? So if you're looking at things like LinkedIn and other like Jack said, professional Facebook or networking sites, messaging, I would say message away, but always keeping it professional, keeping it short, and understanding that if they do, if they do or do not respond, it depends on how many messages they get, how often they go on LinkedIn. But if it's on a professional networking site like LinkedIn, go ahead and message away, because that's what it's for. I would say tread carefully if you're looking for someone online and you're digging really deep to find their contact information. That probably means that they're not trying to be looked at. But if it's on a networking site like LinkedIn, I would definitely say to go ahead and reach out, reach away. And there was really quick, just someone asked about UCLA one, and I know Jackie shared it a little bit, and I pulled it up and I want to go ahead and show that for anybody that wants to see that. So here's a UCLA one landing page, and looking for a mentor or aspirant is as simple as going here on the left-hand side. There's a menu. Find your mentor. So you can find mentors by job function: healthcare services, consulting, engineering, education, and legal. So I'm going to click on education, and you're able to see. So Marco, Guy, all these people are willing to help. So the American University of Paris Student Leadership Coordinator, Sophia. So we're going to click, and you're able to message, you're able to schedule, and you're able to request mentorship. And that's as easy as it is. And the alumni, UCLA Alumni Center does a really good job of keeping up with alumni and making sure that alumni keep updated on what they're able to do. One awesome thing about UCLA One is that you're also able to request alumni to be able to if you're part of a student organization, and you want an alumni to come talk at a student panel or at a panel, you're able to reach out. And have them come, and they're willing to give their time, donate their time to be a part of those events, to network, to be part of networking events, panels, mentorship, messages, meetings, informational interviews. And these are UCLA alumni. So when you reach out to UCLA, when they know that you're a UCLA student or that you're a UCLA alumni, and you're able to connect, share that experience, and be able to already automatically have a connection, which is a lot more intimate than Handshake and a lot more intimate than LinkedIn and even other social media platforms can provide, because here at UCLA One, it's everybody that has or is a UCLA student. And we form a lot of partnerships with the Alumni Center, the Career Center, and the Alumni Center, and even the Transfer Student Center, to make sure that we're leveraging the fact that we are Bruins and that we are across the world and the United States in all these different industries to be able to provide the best experience and the best opportunities for UCLA students.
You all have dropped so much knowledge tonight. You taught me things that I didn't know. I didn't know you could ask them to come to your student orgs. I just, like, even in the last 3 minutes, I learned something new. We have just 5 more minutes, so I want to encourage students that are live with us. If you have any questions you want to drop in the chat, now is our last call for questions. But then, of course, now you know how to get in touch with the Career Center. So if you think of more, you can always reach out. Jackie and Omar, you all are doing a really great job walking us through all these things. Like, I legit have learned so much just watching you do screen shares. This has been really fantastic. Oh, we just got a question.
Yeah. Do you have any specific do's when reaching out to someone in the industry, recruiter, potential mentor? I would definitely say, imagine you're emailing a professor. You definitely don't want to say that you're emailing a friend, or you're sending a text message, or that you're sending Instagram or Snapchat. You definitely don't want to do that. Of course, if you're getting into an industry where that is seen as okay, go ahead. But generally, I would say definitely err on the side of caution. You want to keep it short. You want to keep it professional. You want to offer a little bit about who you are, where you're from. I'm a UCLA student. This is some of my experience. I would really love to, and be really explicit on what you're looking for, or what you're asking them. Like, hey, I want an informational interview, and this is what I'm interested in. Because even if they don't want to set aside the time, or they can't set aside the time, if you give them as much information as possible, they may just be like, hey, look at this, check out some of these things, or they may just copy and paste some inside information from their industry or from wherever they're working at, to provide it to you via email. So you want to make sure that you really keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it professional, and be explicit with what you're asking for, what you're looking for, so that they can provide whatever that is to you. And yes, we also want to encourage you to attend our Ask Me Anything's career pop-ins. So they take place Mondays or Tuesdays. You can check Handshake, always Handshake. So we do pop-ins with different campus partners to be able to answer questions, do presentation. And yes, thank you. They are awesome. You'll usually find some interns, some career advisors, some peer mentors that'll be there and be able to answer some current UCLA students, interns, and we're always hanging around trying to make sure that we provide as much information as we can and have as much conversations as we can with as many students as possible. That's it for me. I'm going to stop. Jackie, is there anything you wanted to say?
Yeah, just going back to Lily's question about specific don't do's when reaching out to someone in the industry, a recruiter or a potential mentor, is one time I had a student ask if they could send out mass emails. So just send out their resume and like the same email to everyone. And I would say, don't do that. I would be hesitant about doing that, because it's not a good use of your time. It's not a good use of their time. Be specific in your email. If they have a role that you're interested in, be very specific in your email. Say why you're interested. Say why you're interested in the position. But don't just send out mass emails, because that may not come across well on the receiving end of that.
That was all really good advice, you all. I just want to give an enormous thank you and round of applause to Jackie and Omar for holding it down for us and answering so many questions. And then also a huge thank you to Karina and Carissa, who were in our chats answering questions live and on Facebook. And the support is just really, really appreciated, and we really value the partnership. I know transfer students, you have less less time on campus generally than traditional students. So it's really important to understand what the Career Center can do for you and how you can make the most of it. Because like they were saying, a lot of those things are paid services. So it's totally like important to take advantage of them while you're a student here. So definitely check them out. Definitely call into their drop-in hour desks. It's your virtual desk. Sign in, go ask them questions, have them help you. Don't be intimidated at all. I know sometimes it's nerve-wracking to show someone your resume, especially when you're building that experience, but that's exactly what they're here for. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to them. Big thank you again. You all were phenomenal. So we're gonna log off Facebook. We hope you have a great night, Facebook. And please go check out the Career Center.